Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate and I'm a session guitarist here in Los Angeles. I do all sorts of stuff from producing records, to playing on people's records, to songwriting, to my own instrumental and solo records as well. And I thought I would take this video to talk about sort of the top 5 things I think are holding back intermediate guitar players from being able to really reach that higher level of playing that we associate with the pros. And a lot of these things are pretty easy fixes. They're not things you need to take a crazy amount of time with, but they are things that are often overlooked. And again, do just kind of hold guitar players who are pretty much almost at that A-level first call status from just reaching that top thing. So based on my experience here in town and whatnot, I thought I would just give you those top 5 things and then show you how to fix them so you can take your guitar playing to the level you really want it to be at. And just a quick thing, guys, if you like this kind of content, if you like this kind of inside baseball guitar stuff, please go ahead and give us a subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and remember to turn that bell all the way on. Thank you very much, and with that, let's get back to the video. So clocking in at number 5 on the top 5 list of things that hold intermediate players back from hitting that advanced level is something really simple, and it's just actually rhythm guitar. Now, when I say rhythm guitar, I really do mean in any style. It could be funk. It could be, of course, rock. Or it could be something we don't typically think of as rhythm guitar playing, but like single line figures in singer-songwriter type music. Right, so all of those things fall under the sort of umbrella of rhythm guitar playing. And the thing that really holds back the intermediates from getting to that first call level, getting to the big stages, getting to the big session calls, whatever ones are still left at this point in 2025, the thing that really gets them is, like I said, the rhythm playing. Because a lot of times guys who are not quite there with their rhythm playing, it has this sort of odd herky-jerky feeling, especially when they're playing to a click. I mean, it's almost like if you have a figure like this, for example. Right, the notes won't exactly be even, those 8th note chugs in between the chords, and also the dynamics will be inconsistent. Something like, it'll sound sort of something like that. And that's just a simple fix. All you got to do, whatever styles you like, doesn't matter whether, like I said, it's rock, funk, R&B, singer-songwriter, country even, Whatever it is, just pick your favorite records and just go round and round and round playing along with the band. Especially nowadays, things are better than ever because of all the AI technology. You can even easily remove the guitar and insert yourself into these top-level AAA bands until you really start to get into a groove and lock in a real serious way. And if you do this for just like 4 to 6 months, I swear your playing will improve and everybody around you will be like, oh my God, that guy's really good. It's not because you're shredding more or less than you were before. It's because you're really able to lock in with a band in a groove and make it sound convincing. Really play with conviction there in those rhythm parts. Okay, coming in at number 4 on this list of things that hold back intermediate players is the simple thing of vibrato. Now, I have a whole video on vibrato. Go check it out on my channel if you like. But the thing I have noticed with players is that a lot of the times it seems like their vibrato is either too fast, it's not in time with the song, and it's often out of tune, either in the bent variation when you're bending up to a note or just hitting one flat. That is just something, and in my video I talked about this specifically on vibrato. Since the shred era, really it's become more intense these days with things like Polyphia and Animals as Leaders, but even going all the way back to the Mike Varney Shrapnel Records days, just each year that's gone on, the focus on vibrato as a part of your technique equal to tapping, shredding, or whatever, has just receded further and further into the back. And unless you are a dedicated blues player, those are the people who don't seem to have any issues. But other than that, if you're any other kind of player, jazz, metal, pop, whatever, there seems to be a real issue being able to do that convincingly and in the context of a song and at the right tempo. That really seems to be hard for a lot of people to do. So the easy quick fix for that is, again, just like any other technique, whether it's tapping or whatever, you just got to grab a metronome, click, 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 and sit there with the instrument, play along to great records, the masters of vibrato, whether that's B.B. King, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, whoever. Sit there as if you're practicing alternate picking and practice vibrato. Right? Practice it slow. Practice it fast. Right? And just make sure you treat it as a holistic part of your technique. And again, study the masters of that, whoever it is, whether it's like for me personally, it's Eric Clapton. But, you know, Derek Trucks is a great person who's a more modern person. John Mayer, obviously, is very popular and has a very good vibrato. These are the type of people you want to study for that. Look to Paul Gilbert, Nuno Bettencourt, and those people for shredding. Look to people, like I said, like Mayer, Clapton, Derek Trucks, vibrato. You put those two things together, you're going to be an undeniable player that everybody's going to call all the time. Okay, number 3 on this list, right? You do not spend enough time diversifying your listening habits. Now, this is a bit of an esoteric one, as it doesn't necessarily involve your playing directly, but if you are interested in being an advanced player, in my opinion, now there's different definitions of advanced players, so I'm not saying mine is the universal goal, right? But an advanced player to me is someone who may not necessarily be the greatest bebop player, but can play over a standard if called to do so. May not necessarily be the greatest blues player, but can play over a blues if called to do so very convincingly. Same thing with metal, country, etc. So the one thing I just see holding players back quite a lot is just this unifocus on one style, to the point that, you know, again, if you're in a band and your band is doing well, this probably doesn't apply to you. But if you're interested in working in the music industry in any kind of professional way, you've got to be able to do both sort of a... And also, you know, you got to be able to do your, let me see if I can get a good jazz tone out of this. I played that slow, but that's kind of a famous Clifford Brown bebop lick. You want to be able to play pretty diversely if you want to take this thing seriously. Like I said, doesn't mean you need to be the best in every category, but kind of be a little bit of a jack of all trades if you can. And in doing this, your playing will improve by leaps and bounds because you'll take bebop licks. I mean, one of my favorites, this is from Sonny Rollins from Eternal Triangle, but you'll take bebop licks like that and start incorporating them into rock playing, into funk playing, into etc. You'll take blues licks, right, like that, and you'll incorporate them in all sorts of genres. Again, like funk, a lot of pop songs, believe it or not, don't have a lot of guitar solos these days, but they do have them. And you'll end up incorporating stuff like that over those type of changes and progressions and grooves. So again, it can feel like a tall task to start exploring genres you're not familiar with and then transcribing them. But I promise you, if you do this and you put in the time with a metronome, etc., you will learn things you never thought you would enjoy. It will improve your technique in playing by leaps and bounds. And again, it will just get you on the road to that top call status. Okay, number 2, we're getting close to the top here, but number 2 thing that holds players back is not recording your practice sessions and listening to them back. You've got to do this. This is sort of a basic thing. I mean, I'm not going to give away my age, but I did this when I was in high school with a cassette recorder. I'm going to let that one hang. But anyways, this is a really essential thing to get feedback from an honest source, again, a recording device, about what you really sound like to an audience or to an artist that might be looking to hire you. You may think, for example, that you're playing pretty clean and that you sort of reach the technical place you need to be at for a certain style you're practicing. But upon listening back, you might hear, oh, actually no. And it's a really great thing because it keeps you honest, because there's no denying if there's string noise, if there's missed notes in a recording. And then, you can choose to be honest with yourself or not about it. I would hope you would do that if you're interested in sort of reaching that pro level. But it is just a really unvarnished way to take a look at your playing and really assess where your strengths and weaknesses are. You have to do that, because the only other option would be to sit in every night with a band and have the band leader roast you, which is something that I did when I was younger, which was very helpful as well. But if you don't have an opportunity to play regularly wherever you're at, this is the next best thing. And it's just really essential. And I just feel like not enough people do that nowadays. So I really would encourage you to do that. And it will help your playing in ways you wouldn't even believe. Okay, the number one thing, in my opinion, I know there's a lot of guitar pros on this website. They may disagree. You all may disagree. Leave it in the comments. But the number one thing, in my opinion, that holds back intermediate players from becoming top players is not locking in when you are soloing. Now, this is kind of a multi-layered thing because a lot of times the people that have this problem do not necessarily have, by the strictest definition, technique problems, right? These are the guys who have spent the time. They have spent hours with the metronome and practicing, whether it's Al Di Meola or Jason Becker or whoever the big shredders are nowadays. I'm old. But like they've spent the time, so they have the technique, everything is clean, but the problem then becomes psychological because it becomes like, well, I've got this monster technique and everybody's got to know about it right now or else I'm not going to be X, Y, or Z. Now, I'm speaking from experience here because this is something I 100% went through in my mid-20s. The first time I remember I played a Sean Lane lick, I was like, oh my God, everybody has to hear this right now, and it does not matter the context. But the problem is, nobody cool, or more importantly, nobody who's going to pay you gives a shit, nor do they want to hear that stuff, really, except in very rarefied, specified conditions, where for some reason you are playing on a song that calls for just an insane guitar flourish moment. You know, otherwise, 9 out of 10 times when someone asks you to take a guitar solo, right? I mean, they just kind of want something like this. See, in A major, like. Right, that is going to make you money. You know, this, like something like that, that's, everyone is going to immediately tune out. And not only are they going to tune out, they're going to get really annoyed really quickly because you are just not playing for the song at all. And even worse, and this is sort of the second part of this, is that after you've been shredding for a while and it's just, you are like, I am the man, I am the king, right? You sort of accidentally kind of go backwards in your technique in a way because you lose the ability really to play convincingly, like I said, a line that's just like I've seen this over and over again where it's like, hey man, I just need a simple thing. And it's like, I'm exaggerating, but these guys all of a sudden cannot lock in a melodic way during a solo. And the only thing they can do is shred, but nobody really wants you to shred again, unless it's a very specific thing like Steven Wilson calls you or something. For the most part, that's not what people want. So the way to remedy this, I would say, is more of a psychological thing than a particular technique, but just to calm down, realize that it is freaking cool, that you can play Sean Lane, Jason Becker, Guthrie Gove and stuff. That is cool. You are cool, but this is the real world. And most people outside of you and me, right, we're guitarists, right, don't know, don't care, and it doesn't enhance their song when you play like that. So take a step back, know you got it, and then just spend time jamming, you know, over like. You know, just do that. You're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel weird. Like, why am I doing this? Am I going to lose my shred technique, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? But I promise you, you will not lose your shred technique. And it's important that you immediately, as quickly as possible, build back up the muscle to play like you did, frankly, when you probably first touched the guitar and you were just playing like Skynyrd and Zeppelin solos and stuff like that. So yeah, overplaying and losing the ability to groove in time in a very simple way when soloing, that is the number one thing, in my opinion, that holds back intermediates from really being considered pros. So anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video. This is just some of the things I've noticed around town when I've worked with people and seen stuff that sort of differentiates the boys from the men, if you like. Let me know what you think. Do you disagree? Leave it in the comments. I really appreciate it. And again, if you do like this content, please just give me a quick subscribe, a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you want more content like that, please head on over to my Patreon, where just $1 a month will make all of this way more possible, way more often. And again, I would be really, really appreciated. And there's some cool benefits in there as well. I'm going to be doing some exclusive content, so you'll be early to that for sure. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video.